Hi, welcome to GFnEASY. This is episode 2, and we're starting down here in the lab. It's my garage, but it's also my lab. It's where I get away from it all and be the other things that I am besides just a father and, the profession of some kind. So, but here on this channel, our focus is to advocate for the families. Advocate, because you guys are already advocating for the kids. But what about the families? What about the fathers? Sorry, I'm kind of singling out dads here, because I am one, and I can relate. Um, some pretty brutal stuff. And if you don't have like real strength, not the stuff you find at the gym, but like real strength, the stuff that your mama gave you, that your daddy gave you, then it's gonna be a hard game for you. It's gonna be a hard game for everybody. But the reality is, if you're in it to win it, you're gonna win. And the prize, well, I guess it's up to you to define. For me, my prize was a loving, happy family where we're actually getting that thing out of life. What that thing is, we all get to decide, right? And be there. Okay, simple. The formula truly is simple. I keep saying it. I've said it. The formula is simple. We all know it. Very few people do it. Go on and make your mistakes, but do it. So, yeah, just wanted to advocate. So I talked about in the first episode how my son was basically asleep for 3 days after his MMR. He turned into a Nestle Crunch bar, and his whole body was a pustule, and he was not cool after that. But I want to share one very particular thing, and it's going to come up later, and that is when I was holding him and praying, the voice of the Lord came to my head, and I didn't really hear it in my ears, but the place in my brain that the ears serve, that's where I heard it. And maybe some people can relate. I don't really open up about this much, but I bet you there's some people out there who know what I'm talking about. And that is, it was kind of like a deafening voice, but it wasn't so loud. It was just all I could hear. And I mean, all I could hear. It completely took over my whole being. And the word 14 come out. So while I'm pleading with my Lord and Maker to preserve my son so that I could love him, I really did only want a family. That's all I want. Mark my words. That's what I really want. So I'm praying for him, and the answer I got direct into the noggin, 14. I thought to myself, what's 14 mean? I mean, I know what 14 is. What does 14 mean to me now? Why is that coming from the Lord's mouth into my ears? Yeah, I'm delusional. Maybe. Certainly I'm going crazy with heartbreak. Looking for something. 14. 14 is what they told me. Whatever told me. And I thought to myself, 14, what could that possibly be? 14 years? 14 hours? 14 days? 14 tries? What? I found out. And that'll all come later. But I want you to know that in these like difficult places where it is you're trying to fight for yourself, fight for your maybe other children, and fight for your special needs child. I don't think I slept for 7 years. I mean, I slept for like 3 or 4 hours, but that's it. That was it. The stress was incredible, incredible. You've never done it. No fun. Anyway, so a little review onto the first episode, and that's all I wanted to do here is just talk about some of those things. And we're going to get things right. And I want to say again that we are victorious here in this house. Well, my boy is still autistic. He's still retarded. But he's celebrated, loved, and he's got his act together, does his things. We play ping pong, we ride bikes, we do all the things that you would want to do with your child. And frankly, he doesn't talk about it much. That's kind of sweet. He's the ultimate secret keeper. I can break down in front of him, talk to him, and he's just going to love me and show me. That's it. So, I spent a lot of time in the first episode. It was kind of dark, kind of felt bad. I was also sick. It was yesterday. I feel a lot better today. But I purposefully caught myself at that time to start because that's really what it feels like. It's your whole body, your whole thing, everything. So we're here to talk about make recovery a real thing. And as I'm looking through my notes here, again, all of this has already been written. Life has already done that. I just need to put this into compartmentalize it and put in something that we can work with. So I'm going to get to something that is a little further down the road. About 2 years, he got diagnosed by the appropriate people, and that's when we started taking action. And we were given an option to accept state money and state support, and they would actually pay my family, me, and his mom and everybody, to have a state person come in and spend time with them, a respite, I think they called it, and things like that. Um, I don't really trust those people. They're only there for the money. Now they are there because they love, but they're there for money. Fine, 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 fine. I show up a lot of places for money and I do a great job, but I'm not outsourcing my kids. And just because you come from the state or some kind of bureau, no, I'll do it myself. So indeed, doing it ourselves. And it was really hard in those first few weeks. I remember my wife at the time, and of course their mother. All three of my children have the same mother. It's my ex-wife, but it is what it is. And at the time, when he got his diagnosis, she says, "I can't believe," she was crying, very upset that her son is autistic and retarded, and that there's no turning back. This is it. And I did say to her, "Look, we were never going to love him any less. Nothing is going to change like that." And that helped. Somehow that helped. She was like, "Wow, that's actually true. I am going to love him forever, and that's not going to change." So, okay. It wasn't easier, but it was slightly better. And that makes it better, right? Okay. So, we were real lost of like, what do you even do now? What do you even do? I mean, the kid's at the park, and he at this point he's 19 years old and 6'5". He's huge. He was also huge as a baby. So now we got the big baby Huey trying to play at the park, and other kids are trying to communicate with him. And he's like, doesn't get it. That going right back to the ego. That's really hard. And as a father, as a man, and I'm not just a male, I'm a man. Um, that's a real blow. It's a blow to the ego. Let's be real. And I spent a lot of time getting over that ego, crushing it. Just there ain't got no room here. To the bottom of the well, you'll be breaking the rocks with a new rock layer. You're so hard, ego. Go do something useful. So there's a lot of what do we do? How? What? And let's not forget, I have another child, my first son, who's exceptionally smart, very, very good at math, very, very good at. He's articulate in every way. He can do just about anything. And so here I am in this two polar opposites. I have this incredibly gifted son, and I have an incredibly not gifted son. And how do you deliver to both? That's the hard part. Like, one of the hard parts is like, how do you get like both represented properly? My first son really does deserve all these resources so he can get the most out of his life. My second son, of course, he deserves these resources just so he can get something out of life. What the hell do I do? I'm a working man. I don't have a lot of money. I don't have a lot of time, and I certainly don't have a lot of support. So, what do I do? Oh, that's where the sleep come in. I just didn't. I found ways, found time. I grew a 25th hour and an 8th day, whatever it took. I also found time to coach his teams. So part of dealing with this is not forgetting what else you have in your life. We're all commonly we get consumed by difficulties and problems. And that's what we see. I'm guilty of that. It's important to focus on the other things in your life that are positive and wonderful, because that's also going to be what your special needs child is focusing on, what is positive and wonderful, and what else is in life. So don't forget about those things. And yourself included. It's so easy to neglect yourself when you are loving on others. We know this. Anyway, it matters to take care and visit on the other things in your life. So as I go back to the idea of resources, somewhere along the line I picked up, correct me if I'm wrong, throw some shade at me, but I heard that the Japanese do something different in their classrooms than the Americans do, than we in the United States do. And that is they take their weakest students, their struggling students, and they put them up front, in front of the teacher, the front of the class. My experience growing up was the best students were in the front of the class, not the weakest. And so the teacher would focus their attention on the weaker students. And then the stronger students would also focus their attention on the weaker students. And if it was something come up with the teacher could not teach the weaker students, the stronger students would go and try to teach the weaker student. What I learned was, frankly, that these resources, which are finite, my resources will be best put. At first, I thought it would be my first son, and then I realized it's best in my second son. Why? My first son has the brains, body, and ability to fight for every inch, just like his daddy did. And my son, my second son with the issues, does not. If I give my resources to somebody who already can command their own, I think I'm wasting two things. If I give the resources to the one that really needs it, I'm setting a precedent, I'm setting an example, and I'm making this elder son of mine look at reality, maybe before he is ready, but it is what it is. And I was right. I was correct. There's trauma and impact all over, throughout everything, right? But I was right. My boy, my middle son, is reachable, teachable, engaged. It's one of those autistic kids who used to be rocking and humming, eyes like slot machines, nothing to do with it, kind of violent, self-injury, like a. We'll get into that self-injury part that he was into. That'll be it in the next episode. This one I want to keep my face intact. So, oh wow, really got lost in that self-injury. Let me tell you, you're gonna have to buckle up. Things are gonna be coming out of left field, rockets coming sideways, and just be ready. And like a little advice, there's not a lot of people in your life are actually contributing. I've learned that a great many people are parasitic. There's no more room for those people. If they cannot contribute, and it sounds like crap to ask a friend to, hey, can you help me? But isn't that what friends do, kind of? But I'm saying if you have a friend who's not like contributing and still coming around, they're actually taking away. You need people who are going to contribute. So, the second episode, I just wanted to kind of wrap up some of the details in the first episode. I realized that I had left out the 14. That is really important, and it's going to get important. But I want you to know that's the level of patience it takes. You'll be given signs and signals, and you won't know what to do with them, but you will put them in your pocket, because they will show up one day as an important feature. And we all know that we can, we can use all the help we can get, right? So I'm going to wrap this up real soon. I want to tell you that he started off healthy, fine. That is MMR for whatever reason. That day, that happened. So, real day one was his MMR, because that reset everything. We're 19 years down the road now, nearly 20. He can ride a bike on his own, through town, through traffic. We play ping pong like it's fireworks. He used to hold that paddle like, duh, what do I do with this? Now he tears me up, and I'm really good. I play both hands. I'm trying to say he has a rich life. I'm trying to say it's full. I'm trying to say he has friends, and I am accomplished in that way. Delivered that. Now, of course, he did the work, and I'm not saying I did all these things. But someone's got to be the tip of the spear. Someone's got to pierce the veil. Someone's got to go through it with real strength. And I want to share these victories with you. A lot of this is going to be hard. I promise the end shows triumph, triumph, and triumph. Same difficulties. Triumphant. That's going to be the difference. And I've had people come up to me in Denny's and just public world, just out in the world, like, how, I see what your son is, but how, he's sitting right there and he's listening. What, how? Not medicine. No dope. Nutrition, follow through, detoxification. Follow through, nutrition. That's it. Not everybody's situation is the same, and my formula is not going to work for everybody. But you can take this and use it for whatever it's worth. All right. God bless. GFnEASY, round 2.